Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy.
How can you truly enjoy the meal unless you know the flavor? Welcome back, ABL fans. This is Big Earl, your trusted voice in Action Baseball League analysis, coming at you with our 12th installment of Deep Dive 25. Watch your fingers, because we're about to slice, dice, and dissect all the nuances of this great league. A heartfelt salute to the sports journalist at the Star Tribune for your straightforward, fact-focused reporting. Your veteran insights and no-nonsense style capture the essence of the team with impressive accuracy. Okay, ABL fanatics, let's do this. Whether it's the Central workhorses, the Western wildcards, or the Eastern powerhouses, we're covering it all. See it for yourself. The Minneapolis Blizzard in the Central Division of the NBC, a team embodying a unique blend of unpredictability and potential. Led by an owner with a dual-natured approach and a front office adept in balancing the team's vision, they present an intriguing mix. With a coaching staff that complements the owner's business-first yet sentimental outlook and players who bring flashes of brilliance, the Blizzard are a team to watch closely. Keep your eyes on Minneapolis. They have the elements to shake things up in the league. If you're one of those folks who can't get enough of the nitty-gritty, the ins and outs, the ups and downs of ABL baseball, then this deep dive is for you. It's like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You never know what treasure you're gonna find. Bundle up and enjoy a warm cup of hot cocoa, because we're delving into a team as diverse and dynamic as Minneapolis's vibrant art scene and the bustling energy of its snowy cityscape.
Question 1. How does the owner's personality and negotiation style influence the team's culture and performance?
The Minneapolis Blizzard's owner, a mixed bag for team culture and performance. Chad Purchase, the 62-year-old owner of the Minneapolis Blizzard with 22 years in the baseball game, is a study in contrasts. Described as temperamental and easygoing in negotiations and understanding, controlling, and interfering in management, Purchase's duality sets a unique tone for the team. His focus on profit and playing 500 ball suggests a business-first mindset, but he isn't devoid of sentimentality, aiming to acquire a hometown player and simply don't suck completely. In a nutshell, this man is a wild card. His fluctuating moods and hands-on approach could either energize the team or mire it in dysfunction. So, Minneapolis Blizzard fans, buckle up. With Purchase at the helm, it's bound to be an unpredictable ride. Is Purchase the kind of owner you'd want in your corner, or is he a ticking time bomb?
Question 2. What roles do the front office and coaches play in the team's success or struggles? Are they aligned with the owner's vision?
Front office and coaching, the balancing act behind the Minneapolis Blizzard. Ken Sears, the GM with 6 years under his belt, leans towards a controlling and personable negotiation style, seemingly in sync with owner Chad Purchase's own controlling tendencies. Field manager Sean Thompson, a 5-year veteran, is personable and controlling, fitting well with the owner's objective of playing 500 ball. Bench coaches Eloy Batista and Wayne Kielich are steady hands with average reputations. Pitching coach Jorge Toledo leans towards groundballers, and scouting director Jesus Pimentel has the tall task of finding a hometown hero with just 4 years of experience and a decent reputation. All in all, the team's front office and coaching staff appear largely aligned with the owner's vision, but the success, or failure, of the Minneapolis Blizzard could hinge on how well these personalities mesh and how much room the interfering owner gives them to operate. So, do you think this crew has what it takes to meet the owner's objectives, or are there some cracks in the foundation?
Question 3. How does the team's financial health reflect in its performance?
Financials and performance. Minneapolis Blizzard's balancing act. The Minneapolis Blizzard operates with a payroll of $4,808,680, leaving some room under their $7 million budget. Their total revenue is $6,132,009, including $3.3 million from media contracts and $469,596 in gate revenue. With $2,278,742 in season tickets and a 76.6% attendance rate at their stadium, they have a steady yet unspectacular income stream. The fan base is average in size but above average in loyalty, although current fan interest is mediocre at 58. They've got $1,937,668 set aside for trades, offering some flexibility. In short, they're a middle-of-the-pack team financially, neither flush with cash nor scraping the barrel. The key question is whether they're maximizing their resources for on-field success, and right now, it's a bit of a toss-up. Is this a team poised for a breakout, or are they stuck in a cycle of mediocrity?
Question 4. How has fan interest evolved over time, and what does it mean for the team's revenue and player acquisitions?
Fan interest and its ripple effects on the Minneapolis Blizzard. In Minneapolis, fan interest has been a roller coaster since the team's inception in '72, peaking mildly in '74 at 72 but hitting a low of 46 by '77. As of '81, it's at a mediocre 58. This fluctuation impacts revenue, evident from the 76.6% stadium capacity and $469,596 in gate receipts, leaving money on the table that could be used for player acquisitions. The less than stellar fan interest also makes the team less attractive to marquee players, who often seek both good pay and a fervent fan base. Owner Chad Purchase, focused on profit, may be reluctant to spend more on players if he doesn't see a corresponding rise in fan interest and revenue. In short, the inconsistent fan interest is a double-edged sword, affecting both the team's financial health and its ability to attract top talent. Should the Blizzard take some risks to spike that fan interest, or is their current course sustainable?
Question 5. What is the current mood among the fan base, and how could it impact the team in the short term?
Fan mood, a cautious optimism that could make or break the Blizzard. The current mood among Minneapolis Blizzard fans is cautiously optimistic but nowhere near euphoric, reflected by a fan interest of 58 and 76.6% stadium attendance. This lukewarm atmosphere could have immediate financial consequences, potentially reducing ticket and merchandise sales. It may also affect player morale, creating a vicious cycle of tepid performances and dwindling fan enthusiasm. Furthermore, the current fan mood could trigger rash decisions from the owner, Chad Purchase, who's already known for his interfering and controlling nature. These short-term strategies to please the crowd could bring immediate gains but risk long-term success. Should the Blizzard aim for short-term wins to boost fan morale, or would that be a short-sighted move?
Question 6. How is the team faring in the league standings, and what factors are contributing to their performance?
League standings and factors. Minneapolis Blizzard struggling to find consistency. The Minneapolis Blizzard's current record is 8-11, sitting 4 games back in the division. Their last 10 games show a 6-4 record, and they're on a 2-game win streak. However, the team is a study in contrasts. While they have scored 83 runs and allowed 82, resulting in a negligible run differential of +1, they're facing a challenging strength of schedule at .524. Their home record is a respectable 8-5, but they've yet to win a game on the road, standing at 0-6. Essentially, the Blizzard are holding their own defensively, but their offense needs to step up. They're a middle-of-the-pack team struggling with consistency, particularly in away games. Can the Blizzard turn things around, or are they destined for mediocrity this season?
Question 7. What are the team's odds of making the playoffs on a divisional and conference level?
Playoff odds. Blizzard's long shot for postseason glory. The Minneapolis Blizzard are facing long odds for making the playoffs this season. Their chance of finishing first in the league is a slim 0.5%, and their odds of clinching the division are not much better at 6%. Overall, they have a 10.7% chance of making it to the postseason, either by winning the division or through a wildcard spot. In simple terms, the numbers suggest that the Blizzard are a long shot for playoff contention, reflecting their inconsistent performance so far this season. So, are these odds a fair assessment, or is there an underdog story in the making here?
Question 8. How do base runs and ELO ratings paint a picture of the team's true strengths and weaknesses?
Base runs and ELO. The metrics behind Minneapolis Blizzard's inconsistencies. Base runs suggest the Minneapolis Blizzard are slightly outperforming their expected runs scored, 83 actual versus 76 expected, but are in line with expected runs allowed, 82 actual versus 81 expected. Despite this, their actual win percentage, for 21, falls short of the projected win percentage, 506, based on these metrics. Their ELO rating has remained virtually unchanged from the season start at 1,475.8 to the current 1,475.7, although there is a modest positive trend in the 30-day and 7-day changes. In summary, the team's performance metrics indicate they are doing well in scoring opportunities but are underachieving in win percentage. Their stagnant ELO rating reflects a lack of sustained high-quality play. So, are these stats painting an accurate portrait, or do you think the team has untapped potential they've yet to show?
Question 9. What does the team's WAR indicate about its most valuable players?
Team WAR, Minneapolis Blizzard's pitching staff carrying the load. The Minneapolis Blizzard's WAR stats reveal a team leaning heavily on its pitching, with a pitcher WAR of 2.39 compared to a batter WAR of just 0.94. The total WAR of 3.32 confirms that the team's value largely stems from its performance on the mound. When you look at their 8 wins alongside a WAR of 3.32, it's evident that their pitchers are doing the heavy lifting. The wins minus WAR metric sits at 4.68, indicating that without their most valuable players, particularly the pitchers, the team would be far worse off. In short, the Blizzards' pitching is the driving force behind the team, while the offense needs to step up to balance the equation. So, should the Blizzard focus on strengthening their batting lineup, or can they ride on the coattails of their strong pitching staff for the rest of the season?
Question 10. How have injuries impacted the team's performance and depth?
Injuries a non-issue for Minneapolis Blizzard, a double-edged sword? The Minneapolis Blizzard currently has 0 injuries, meaning they're fielding their best possible lineup every game. The absence of injuries keeps them financially stable with $0 spent on the disabled list and offers field manager Sean Thompson full tactical flexibility. However, this clean bill of health also raises questions about their middling performance and puts the spotlight squarely on the team's weaknesses. Additionally, the lack of injuries means they haven't had to test their depth, leaving questions about how they'd fare in a crisis situation. All in all, the lack of injuries is both a blessing and a potential pressure point for a team that's yet to find its footing this season. So, is the full roster more of a boon or a bane for the Blizzard?
Question 11. What do the team's batting statistics reveal about its offensive capabilities?
A study in mediocrity, the Blizzard's batting breakdown. The Minneapolis Blizzard's batting stats paint a picture of a team that's good at making contact, boasting a .282 batting average and a 14.2% strikeout rate. While they've scored 83 runs and have a respectable walk rate of 6.98%, the numbers also reveal a lack of power and speed. With only 12 home runs, an isolated power ISO of 120, and just 3 stolen bases, they lack the explosive elements that can change a game. Their on-base plus slugging, OPS, stands at 738, and their weighted on-base average, WOBA, is 339, placing them squarely in the realm of average when it comes to clutch hitting. Overall, the Blizzards' batting lineup is more about getting on base than swinging for the fences, but it lacks the dynamism to be truly impactful. So, is their offensive capability good enough as is, or are changes needed?
Question 12. How does the pitching staff stack up against divisional and conference competition?
Holding the fort, the Blizzards' pitching in perspective. The Minneapolis Blizzards pitching staff sports an ERA of 3.76 and a FIP of 4.06, showing they're fairly effective but have room for improvement. The staff struggles with control, evidenced by a high walk rate of 9.36%. They show moderate dominance with a 17.6% strikeout rate and have been good at keeping the ball in the park, allowing only 13 home runs and maintaining an 8.4% home runs per fly ball rate. However, they could be more effective in clutch situations, as indicated by a left-on-base percentage of 70.8%. The staff also allows a somewhat high opponent average of 255 and OBP of 336. Overall, the Blizzards' pitching is their strongest asset, but they'll need to fine-tune their control and situation management to be true contenders. So, is their pitching going to be their ticket to the playoffs?
Question 13. Are the team's fielding statistics a strength or a weakness?
A tale of two gloves, the Blizzards' fielding conundrum. The Minneapolis Blizzards' fielding is a tale of two halves. Their infield shines with a positive zone rating, ZR, of 1.57, but their outfield is a concern, posting a negative ZR of minus 2.49. The pitcher and catcher are holding their own, contributing to a total ZR of minus 0.78. They've turned 13 double plays and have 5 outfield assists, showing moments of defensive brilliance. Their defensive efficiency sits at a moderate 0.702, and they've committed 11 errors, indicating room for improvement. When it comes to controlling the running game, they've thrown out nearly 47% of base stealers. All in all, their fielding is neither a glaring weakness nor a standout strength. It's serviceable but could use some fine-tuning. Does this mixed bag of fielding stats sit well with you, or do you see room for some defensive upgrades?
Question 14. What do base running stats say about the team's tactical approach?
Playing it safe or missing out? Blizzard's conservative base running. The Minneapolis Blizzard are cautious on the base paths to say the least. With only 3 stolen bases on 6 attempts, they're not taking many risks, and their 50% success rate doesn't inspire confidence. Despite ample opportunities, 129 singles, 48 walks, and 5 hit-by pitches, they're opting to play it safe. Their conservative approach is underscored by a weighted stolen base runs, WSB, of -0.12, indicating that their base running tactics are slightly detrimental to their run-scoring ability. In a nutshell, they're like a driver who never takes the car out of first gear. Sure, they won't crash, but they're not going anywhere fast either. Is it time for the Blizzard to push the pedal to the metal, or should they continue to err on the side of caution?
Question 15. Who are the standout performers in batting, and what do their stats reveal?
Hot bats in the Blizzard lineup, a tale of standout performers. When it comes to swinging a hot bat, Ricky Thompson is the man for the Minneapolis Blizzard, boasting an eye-popping .473 average and a 1.114 OPS. He's the engine driving the team's offense with a WAR of 1.26. Hirotoshi Nishimoto is the muscle in the lineup, flexing with 4 home runs and an 870 OPS. Enrique Amaya, the utility guy, is holding his own with a 290 average and 756 OPS. These 3 are a blend of contact and power, offering a glimmer of hope for a lineup that's had its struggles. Thompson is setting the pace, and if the others can keep up, the Blizzard might just have a shot at turning their season around.
Question 16. Who are the key figures in the pitching staff, and how do they influence games?
Blizzard's mound men, aces, workhorses, and wildcards. Jake Piscitelli is the go-to guy, an ace with control who's been a bit unlucky given his ERA of 4.15 against a better FIP of 3.44. David Bain is your innings eater with a solid 3.31 ERA, though his FIP at 4.43 suggests some future bumps. Fernando Diaz is the enigma, boasting a high strikeout per 9 of 8.18 but struggling with walks and a lofty 5.32 ERA. Emilio Lopez is the flamethrower with a 9.43 strikeout per 9, but he needs to cut down on the free passes, evident from his 6.83 walks per 9. It's a rotation with some upside, but also with question marks, especially when it comes to control. So, is this the rotation that's going to get the Blizzard deep into the playoffs, or are there changes needed?
Question 17. Who excels in base running and fielding, and how do they impact the game's outcome?
Young speed and glove work, the unsung heroes of the Blizzard. Jorge Ortiz, Ricky Ortiz, and Luis Perez are the young bucks on the base paths, each with a 100% success rate in their lone stolen base attempt. While the sample size is small, the potential is evident. In the field, Dwayne Harrison is the standout, saving more runs than an average third baseman with a zone rating of 1.188. Young Jorge Ortiz, who also shines on the bases, has a .987 fielding percentage and a solid ZR at second base. Ricky Thompson holds down first base reliably, boasting a .979 fielding percentage. These guys might not grab the headlines, but they're certainly influencing the outcomes of games.
Question 18. What does the team's age demographic reveal about its experience and future potential?
Age and the art of team building. A look at the Blizzard's demographics. The Minneapolis Blizzard are right in their prime with an overall average age of 27.71, making them a team to reckon with right now. Their pitching staff, averaging 28.25 years, has the experience to tackle high-pressure situations, while the batters, with an average age of 27.33, have room for growth. The AAA level raises some eyebrows with an average pitcher age of over 30, suggesting a possible lack of immediate reinforcements for the big league squad. However, the AA and single A levels are brimming with youth, promising a strong talent pipeline for the future. This team is built to compete now, but the minors present a mixed bag when it comes to future readiness.
Question 19. Who has had the best batting and pitching games, and what do these performances signify for the team?
Show-stopping performances highlight Blizzard's potential. Hirotoshi Nishimoto and Emilio Lopez put on clinics that should have ABL fans, especially those following the Blizzard, buzzing. Nishimoto showcased clutch hitting with 3 RBIs and a homer against the Charlotte Colonels, even if the team couldn't pull off the win. It's a bet you want at the plate when the game's on the line. On the other side of the coin, Lopez threw a complete game shutout with 10 strikeouts against the Atlanta Kings, showing he's got the arm to be a game changer. These individual highlights not only boost morale, but signal that this team has the kind of talent that can swing games, and perhaps even seasons, in their favor.
Question 20. What does your gut tell you about this team in the 1981 championship season and the Grand Tournament of Champions?
Good check on the Blizzard's 1981 championship aspirations. The Minneapolis Blizzard are a tantalizing puzzle this season. They're hovering around 500, yet they've got the raw materials to become a late-season nightmare for other teams. Their lineup has popped, their pitching staff has shown flashes of brilliance, but they need to keep their key pieces healthy and perhaps make a couple of strategic acquisitions. When it comes to the Grand Tournament of Champions, let's just say they're the dark horse nobody wants in their bracket. They've got the star power to pull off upsets, but need to bolster their depth to go the distance. They're a few smart moves away from being not just a playoff team, but a genuine contender. Are they contenders or pretenders?
Question 21. What is the team's history in the Grand Tournament of Champions?
The weight and promise of history, the Blizzard's G2C journey. The Minneapolis Blizzard's 1978 run to the NBC Division Championship Series stands as a historical watermark, imbuing the franchise with a blend of promise and pressure. They were vanquished by the Miami Hurricanes, who subsequently won it all, elevating the Blizzard's loss to a near miss at greatness. This historical context adds multiple layers to the current team's aspirations. On one hand, it highlights their pedigree, a resume point that can infuse the team with self-belief. On the other, it serves as a constant reminder of opportunities missed, a narrative the team must either embrace as motivation or risk becoming haunted by. With an owner like Chad Purchase, who's not shy about his ambitions, and a fan base itching for a championship, this year's Blizzard aren't just competing for today, they're contending with their own storied past. Can history be a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block for the Blizzard?
Question 22. What is the team's history in previous seasons?
A decade of peaks and valleys, the Blizzard's 1981 challenge. The Minneapolis Blizzard are the very definition of a roller coaster team, oscillating between the highs of a first-place finish in G2C run in '78 to the lows of financial struggles and underperformance in multiple years. Despite pitching generally being a bright spot, their batting average has historically lagged, underscoring their inconsistency. Fan attendance, like their performance, has had its peaks and valleys, notably surging in '79 following their successful '78 season. Now, in 1981, they find themselves at a crossroads. With the highest payroll and balance they've ever had, the pressure is on to prove they're more than just a flash in the pan. This season is shaping up to be a pivotal one, either a stepping stone to sustained success or another chapter in a book of unfulfilled potential. Is 1981 going to be the season the Blizzard finally figure it out?
Question 23. What's your take on last season?
The 1980 fiasco, a pricey year of struggles for the Blizzard. The Minneapolis Blizzard's 1980 season was a textbook example of underachievement. Despite a hefty payroll of $5.3 million, the team limped to a 65-97 record, a mere .401 win percentage, and a last-place finish in the division. Their ERA of 3.93 and a batting average of .239 were both subpar, further indicating the team's struggles on both sides of the ball. Financially, the balance hovered at just over $432,000, hardly a cushion given the outlay on player salaries. Despite the woeful performance, fan attendance still crossed the 1.2 million mark, a testament to Midwest loyalty if ever there was one. The sole glimmer of hope? A youthful core, which suggested the team was at least building for the future. Is the 1980 debacle a hiccup or a trend for the Minneapolis Blizzard?
Question 24. How does what happened in the 1980 season reflect on the 1981 early campaign?
The shadow of 1980 lingers over early 1981 campaign for the Blizzard. The Minneapolis Blizzard are off to a shaky 8-11 start in 1981, and the specter of last year's disappointing 65-97 record looms large. Despite a significantly healthier financial situation with a current balance of $4.5 million, the team still grapples with roster questions due to last year's high payroll and underperformance. Early indicators in 1981 are mixed. While the batting average has improved to .282, the ERA remains troubling at 3.76. Fan attendance, although dipped in 1980, still holds, adding pressure on the front office to make ambitious moves. The weight of the disastrous 1980 season adds an extra layer of urgency to 1981, a year where the Blizzard desperately need to distance themselves from being perennial basement dwellers.
Question 25. What is your take on the current roster?
The 1981 Blizzard, a lineup of promise and pitching pitfalls. In the early runnings of the 1981 season, the Minneapolis Blizzard's lineup shows a significant turnaround in batting averages, but the pitching staff raises concern. Ace David Bain is showing signs of exhaustion despite a strong 4-1 record and 3.31 ERA, while Tristan Davis impresses with a 1.08 ERA in limited action. The rest of the rotation struggles with ERAs north of 4, especially Fernando Diaz at 5.32. On the batting front, Ricky Thompson is a standout with a .473 average, and Luis Perez shows promise with a .455 average in limited play. However, third baseman Dwayne Harrison is a sore spot, batting a meager .23. With no major injuries to report, the team's immediate focus should be on pitching depth and lineup consistency to truly contend this year. So, looking at these early indicators, the fans sure hope the game plan for the Blizzard to shake off the chill of last year's season really takes hold. Well, there you have it. Your up-close and personal deep dive into the Minneapolis Blizzard. We've dissected their strengths, weaknesses, and everything in between. We've peeked into the owner's suite, dug into the dugout, and even scoped out the fans in the bleachers. And let me tell you, what a ride it's been. Like a well-pitched game, we've covered all the bases. But remember, baseball is a game of unpredictability. Just when you think you've got it figured out, it throws you a curveball. The Minneapolis Blizzard, a team that's been skating through the regular season with the potential of a storied hockey franchise. But when it comes to the Grand Tournament of Champions, they've often been more like a scrappy minor league squad. Will they harness their latent energy and surge into the spotlight, or are they destined to remain a team with unfulfilled promise? The Blizzard's tale is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be a page-turner. Big Earl here, folks. Keep your eyes peeled for future reports as we navigate through the twists and turns of another gripping ABL season. So, whether you're a fan of the Blizzard or just love the game, the best is yet to come. Until next time, this is the game. See it for yourself.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.